When I was a young youth pastor, I had this band come in, and they came in to do a concert, and the drummer for the band, professional drummer, needed to go to the music store to buy some stuff. So I took him, and I played around at drums. I was kind of hacker at drums, and I wanted this guy to think I was cool. So I tried to have drum talk with him. Well, the problem was I didn't know any drum talk. I was a hacker. I wasn't a real drummer. And so he asked me a question using some drum terminology, and I was silent. I couldn't say anything. I didn't know what to do. He started laughing, said he was just pulling my chain. I was mortified. I was so embarrassed. But the problem was I wasn't just being myself. I was trying to get him to like me because I wanted his approval. I needed his approval for some reason. And many of us are like that in life. We're always trying to get other people's approval, and it's what we live for. And today we're going to be talking about releasing the need for approval, kind of breaking free of what other people think. And this is a big part of you overcoming insecurity and living the life you were designed to live. Hey guys, I'm David Maxwell of Thriving Man, where we help you conquer your everyday chaos and live a thriving life. We've been working on a series about insecurity, and it's on our YouTube channel. You can see it all. We've got it on our podcast because we want to help you fight your insecurity. A lot of men struggle with insecurity. They may never show it. They may not act like it. But a lot of men struggle with insecurity in different forms, different fashions, and we want to help you overcome that because living a thriving life means knowing who you are and knowing how to live. And that's what we want to do. So check out all the videos. This is just one in a series. Make sure you like them. Make sure to subscribe, share them with other men that you want to see grow. Now, what other people think has always been an issue in societies ever since history. When you look at fashion, when you look at all those things, you see that people really do care what other people think. You know, they want to be part of the cool crowd or whatever. And throughout history, it's always been that way. We see it with men. We'll see men who go out with a girl that they may like, but they're mainly going out with her because she's very pretty and it's going to make him look good to the other men. And that's what they're doing it for. It's weird, but a lot of guys do it. And we aren't saying that you shouldn't care about what people think of you. There should be some general care, especially when it comes to hygiene. You know, how do you smell? Do you brush your teeth and things like that? But seriously, what we're talking about is that need for approval. It's not just caring what people think. It's needing them to accept you. It's needing approval from them. A lot of men live their whole life like that. They're always searching for someone to accept them, for someone to approve of them. No matter what field they're in, it happens to all men. And the reason this is bad is because you're not living your life at that point. You're living a life, but you're living a life that's controlled by other people. And we don't want to live that way. We want to live the life we were designed to live. And today we've got two things to help you release that need for approval and live that life you were designed to live. The first thing we want to do is build a healthy detachment. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean I live cold and indifferent to the world? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It's a mature and balanced way to look at life. It's a mature and balanced way to live life. And with this, we focus on our individual well-being. How am I living? What am I doing? We're also looking at our relationships and how we're involved with people. Both of those help us actually form a healthy detachment. Now, when I say that, a lot of people think detachment. No, what it means is you're not detached from the world. You're detached from those opinions. You're detached from those things that you can't control, and you're owning the things that you can control. This is where you live the life that you live, and you're not playing a part. You're not wearing a mask. You're not pretending so that other people like you. And this is important because it keeps you from living in that trap of what do people think of me? Will they accept me? Let me change who I am for someone else. What it does is it gives you the freedom to let me discover who I am. Let me try new things in my life. Let me do something that I enjoy doing. Let me build those relationships that are life-giving to me and I can be life-giving to them. It looks for that healthy way to live life. And I say healthy detachment because you don't live with that need of approval that hurts you and a lot of times the people around you. Now understand, in order to live with a healthy detachment, you've got to live in truth. Living in truth means you know who you are. You know what you're good at. You know your strengths, your weaknesses. I'm not saying you're perfect. I'm not saying you have it all figured out. But you know at this point, hey, this is something I'm good at. Oh, I'm not so good at that. That's healthy. That's truth in your life. And it's also truth that you speak to other people. You're very honest with other people about what you like, what you don't like, who you are, what you'll give responsibility to do. Like, oh, okay, I'll do that for you, or no, I can't do that for you. That's being honest. A lot of people can't do that because they wear a mask. They never say no to their boss. They never say no to anybody because they want those people to like them. But they can't do everything. And eventually it's all going to blow up. I think one of the best examples of a healthy detachment is the life of Jesus. When Jesus lived here on the earth, he was very honest and forthright with everybody. But he had empathy and love for people. He genuinely cared for people. But if you notice, he spoke truth to people. Sometimes people needed to hear a strong truth, and Jesus wasn't afraid to say it. Why? Because he could care for people, but also be honest with them, because he didn't need their approval. People throughout his life tried to tell Jesus what to do. They tried to tell him, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And he didn't listen to him because he knew what he was called to do and what he was supposed to do. So he had enough of a healthy detachment that he could do what he needed to do while still caring and loving for others. So remember, a healthy detachment doesn't mean you stay away from people. It actually means you're better to be around people. The second thing we want to talk about is learning to release control. You can't control what other people think of you. This doesn't mean you don't care about what people think. You can care about what people think. What it means is you can't control what they think. Now, controlling what people think means that you're manipulating. You're trying to control that situation. And I, for a long time in my life, lived that way, where I tried to act differently around people so I could control what they thought of me. And it's very exhausting to do that. And you don't want to do that. What you want to do is release that control and say, I can't help what they think of me. Now, that doesn't mean that if you do something wrong, you don't make up for it. No, you do. If you've offended somebody, you apologize. If you've wronged somebody, you apologize. You do those things to make it right, but that doesn't control what they think of you. That just fixes the situation. Or you've done your part for the situation. If you ask for forgiveness and they don't forgive you, you can't control that. But you did ask for forgiveness if you did something wrong. That's an important aspect of it. You release that control of what they think. And by doing that, what you do is you really discover yourself. This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I'm all about. We have a lot of men today who don't know who they are. They don't know what they believe. They don't have a foundation, so they're always living for someone else's thoughts. They're always living thinking, I'm going to help someone else think well of me, or I'm going to do this or do that. And it's just tiring. And that means a lot of men aren't really built on a foundation. They don't stand up for things. They kind of get wishy-washy and everything. Even the guy who has the I don't care about anybody attitude, a lot of times that's his mask. He's wearing a part. He doesn't even believe a lot of the things he says. He's just acting that way because he wants to have the persona that he doesn't care what people think of him. And the truth is, he really does. Now understand, trying to control another person's opinion of you is rooted in your own insecurity. When you're trying to control what they think, that's your insecurity talking. But the beauty is when we discover more of our strengths and our weaknesses, we get honest with ourselves, we deal with ourselves in that way, we actually gain more peace. And when you gain more peace, you don't care what other people think of you in a good way because you're going to be who you are. You've discovered more about yourself. You've built a foundation in your life. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and that shows in how you act. So closing out this episode, let's start by focusing on building a healthy detachment. That's the first step of really going against this need for approval. And when I say that, what I mean is we start by building up our individual well-being. What are you doing to grow yourself? What are you doing to grow yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Those are important aspects of who you are. And if you want to be a person who's an individual, you want to grow your well-being, you've got to grow in those areas. A place that can help you is thrivingman.com. We have courses, we have coaching, we even have a community of like-minded men who want to grow in these areas. And these are all places that you can join in to be encouraged, to be challenged, to help you be a man who knows who he is and knows where he's going. Again, doesn't mean you're perfect, doesn't mean you do everything right. What it means is you're your own man. You're the man you were designed to be. And that's an important place to be, because that man doesn't really care what other people think, but he does care for people. He does care about them because he knows how to care. He knows how to love. He knows how to be a real person. And that's the other thing. You want to grow in your interactions, your relationships. You want to have good friendships. You want to build relationships. As you do that, what'll happen is the need for approval will go away. Your ability to care for others will actually grow, and you'll become a better person. If you do those things, that insecurity will decrease, your security will increase, and you'll make a greater impact on other people. We'll see you next time.